Hey there, everyone. It's Nolen Walker here. Today, the topic is SPITL, SPITL. It stands for Sales, Profit, Investment, Taxes, and Legal. And I'm going to run down some basic stuff with you here just so you can kind of get a feel for where you might want to go in general as an entrepreneur. And this can count too as an employee. I will tell you, you can still get there depending on how well everything's set up. I just know that some of this other stuff is necessary, but you've got to be able to get to the I, to the investment part. I don't want you not investing just because you work somewhere, whether you start a business or not. So marketing's key. I mean, it is such a key thing. A lead, marketing, nowadays a brand, a personal brand, a business brand. It's imperative that you learn how to market a little bit somehow, or sell, market, leads. If you can't figure this one out, you're going to have a hard time having a business that works. I mean, this needs to start everything. Nothing occurs without a lead and a sale, marketing, nothing. Everything stems from this. You could go I'm a purist on the S. I will put on my sales goggles, leads goggles, marketing, information, content, social media, videos, podcasts. I mean, I don't know. Whatever it is, it needs to be there. You could work somewhere else, be the best salesperson, and have a great life without ever starting a business. You'll be invaluable if you can do this. Make quite a bit of money. A job that you might not be able to make more than 50 or 60,000, you might make $250,000 because you can sell. And then you have some sort of autonomy and freedom. You're going to have more of it. It's a very good skill set. So the sale is part of it, but if you're going to start your own business, I don't know where you'll start. You might start off on TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, podcasts. You might pay for ads, pay for leads, pay for distribution. I'm not sure where you're going to start with this. It depends on what you're doing. We help HVAC plumbers, roofers, in one business, and then we have software coming to do all kinds of stuff. What I do with Nolen Walker is a little different. Just trying to help people do their own thing, but you've got to figure that part of it out, and you've got to think about it all the time. I can tell you that almost all businesses will screw this up even when they're trying. They'll just stop signaling to Google, stop putting out content. You can't do that. You're never ending. The amount of content distribution that you have to do is mind-numbing on some level. The chance of you hitting lightning in a bottle and it taking off is not really likely. In fact, people that do that are very skilled. Most people, even when they get hooked up and start to market, will mess that up and stop it. Your job is to champion your brand as much as you can. If you have a business, you can champion the brand depending. If you're a person, you have to champion the individual, the personal brand. That brings in leads to sales. Imperative. Profits. You will mess up profits. You can make all the money in the world and still not profit if your expenses are too high. Expenses being low is imperative. People make one-liners like, hey, work on the business, not in the business. So you go hire up everybody. Well, I don't want to do sales. I'll do that. I'll hire this one and I'll do this. And your sales and your profits will just go. Phew. So you can always correct if you have sales leads and all leads coming in. You can always fix this. So if S stays strong, the sales part, leads, you can fix the P on profit. But you'll probably mess up profit over and over and over again because of too much expenses. I don't care if it's a car, a lease. Oh, well, it's a write-off. No, man, you're paying for it. Oh, well, we got to have this person. Did you? Oh, we need a nice office. Do you? We'll wrap the truck. Did you need to do that? So you can mess up profit. Promise you, I've done it before plenty of times. If you don't make profit, it's because you're not making sales or your expenses are too high. It goes in order. Once you have a profit, you have to invest. If you don't invest, you will run the hamster wheel, the rat race forever. Forever. What was that from? Sandlot. Forever, right? So you will run the hamster wheel forever. It does not matter. You can go make your money and go show out around town. Nice car, nice house, non-cash flowing assets. It's hard to call it an asset. You go down to the raw version of that, like Grant Cardone is a new one talking about it, or Robert Kiyosaki. It is not an asset, really, if it doesn't cash flow. It's a liability, right? Got your fancy car. People that don't know you think you're fancy. People that have money know you're not fancy. They know you're flashy, probably dumb with your money. So if you spend that profit, now you have it, and you crept your lifestyle up, or you're worried about what people think about you, and you got a big old home and you got a big old car, no money left to invest. Now you have to keep that under control. Ideally, you'd wait a few years, or at least go make some investment and then have the toys and all the stuff, the non-cash flowing assets, the liabilities, you purchase those off the cash flow or the monies from the investment. And if you don't figure this one out, you'll run that hamster wheel forever. Sooner you figure this out, it'll get nice quickly. Probably 5 years, you'll look up and not know what happened. Real estate's kind of slow but sure, and tried more than others, but nothing's guaranteed. You could invest your money and lose it all. You could, but if you don't invest it all, you'll definitely be poor. So you're going to have to invest money. You don't have to be a guru here. This is not some sort of thing. I think that I know that I did this wrong. You need to go put some money in, get an investment advisor, go buy a single family home. It's like, oh, the single family home only makes $100 a month. No, it doesn't. It's got rental appreciation, capital improvements. You can do all kinds of things to it. You can go do equity improvements. I mean, just inflation alone, and then write-offs and other things, and there's all kinds of things. So once you buy a piece of real estate and you start asking questions, real estate and advisor, there's just so much stuff that you can do that is legal tax strategies, because the government wants you to invest money and take loans in order to drive our economy. So buy one thing and don't worry about too much of it. It's like, if it looks sound, take a risk one time. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to make money. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But look what happened from 2020 to today if you did not invest or risk anything at all. You're so much poorer than you were because the dollars you have didn't ride well, right? All right, so after that, there is taxes. Taxes, you need a good CPA, a good accountant, and once you invest and buy something, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of the legal tax strategies that are employed for people to invest their money. Like I said, government wants you to invest your money. It drives the economy. Not going to go into all that here, but depreciation and other things you can get into and make sure that you're doing that. So the point is, once you make it to the S to the P to the I, and you've invested, you've changed who you are. You'll think about those toys differently. They become kind of worthless. I like investments. I don't like a car. Like, who cares about a car? I mean, heaven forbid somebody noticed me out on the road because my car was nice. Ridiculous, but I like my investments. I love them all. But you'll view them differently, and then you'll view your position in the world differently, and you become an investor. It's a big change from just being a consumer or an employee. You become a business owner. This goes back to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I know he says some crazy stuff nowadays, but the fundamentals are still there. So old school Robert Kiyosaki. But yeah, you move from employee or to business owner to investor, and then it changes your mindset. You won't even know if you don't go to this level. 50% of people never invest anything. I don't have a problem with stock market stuff. It's just that it's gambling, because 99% of us can't read any. And even if you think you can't read the financials well enough to make an intelligent decision. You're just riding the wave of investing and inflation, which is fine. It's just that it's a little riskier, right? So I don't do as much of it, but I like some of the liquidity of it. But you can lose your shirt, and people do, and will again, So, but that can happen with any of the investments. And then once you're investing, taxes are better, because you're being incentivized to spend the money instead of, now you're being disincentivized. Let's stop here and talk about the taxes. If you decide to take the profit and instead of investing, you flip to lifestyle, cars, clothes, just stuff, junk, boats, trucks, all that stuff. The money's going to get taxed heavy. You didn't take a loan. You didn't help the financial system. You didn't drive the economy. You just went and bought stuff, flashy things that are temporarily nice, but don't really improve your lifestyle that much. Not too much. You can get a John boat. You don't have to go get the fanciest boat if you want to go fishing, But you could get a few cheap things, but I wouldn't buy that nice stuff until later because you don't know what you're missing as the investor. Now, if you invest, taxes are better because you've helped the economy. You've helped America. And you help a little bit when you go buy stuff, and I'm sure people love for you to go buy cars and other things, but not as good of a place to be. Finally, legal. You get to enough of a place in life and you can protect your assets. I've told y'all before, I work for Team Walker. I work for the family. I work for my children. I don't have grandkids yet, but I'm working for them. I hope to be around to see great grandkids, but I'm working for them too. And so legal, I'm protecting everything all the time. You could add insurance in here maybe, but I like the acronym SPITL. And my kids can recite this to you. Their brains work a little bit differently. We don't talk about the same things. I love the SPITL technique. I don't talk about make good grades so you can get a good job, or get into good college so you can get a good job. I think it's a recipe for throwing a life away potentially. Not always. So don't, if somebody wants to be a professional, fine. But do you really want to be a professional? I mean, we had moved out to the country, an upscale country city outside of Fort Worth, long time ago. And we went out there to send the kids to school. So the kids got a little older. You'll know if you have kids every once in a while, you move because you have another kid, you need another bedroom, you want a different school district. So we moved out there. Kid went to first grade, I think, out there, and couldn't get in the school. They had a sign on the wall that said, make good grades so you can get into a good college so you can get a good job, and it had butterflies around it. It was on a quote, it was on a wall. All the kids were walking through holding a bubble in their mouth, and I was horrified by this as a business person, as a human. I was horrified by it. My kid was being taught, follow orders, hold the bubble, don't talk, don't be an individual, don't communicate, so all this stuff. And I know we all go through this. I get it. And I know we have to participate in society a little bit in order to, to get along, that there's rules. I'm not trying to, the kids are all being able to go through and, they can go on to college if they chose to do that. But what would one go for? Nowadays things have changed a lot. You can be a doctor or a lawyer, an engineer. I get the financial part. You want to learn economics and finance, maybe engineering. Those are some pretty high-paying stuff. I think Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank talks about the new degree being creativity. Maybe it's editing or something else, but things have changed drastically. For me, I didn't want my kids to be a profession either, because you have to come in and work. It's very restrictive government rules and regulations, and maybe you'll make some more money, but man, there's a lot of servitude there of time, and we need people to do every job. I'm not saying that that's not needed at all. I'm telling you to get out of the rat race by following some basic principles. If you're working somewhere, fine. We need you to do what you're doing. Do it with integrity so you have a chance to get out. Improve your skill set so you can improve your profits and invest. But better yet, learn some other tactics and techniques so you can have a better life. And we want people to think about it. I wanted my kids to think about it. I do have a kid going to college, largely to go through sports. But we don't push for the other stuff in the same way. A little bit different mindset. SPITL is a way to think about things a little bit differently. And an entrepreneurial, Texas-brained mindset is a good way to get there. And I want you to work for freedom of your time. And that will come from investments and other things, and the ability to move around and have the best day-to-day experience, to not live for a vacation, but to have every day as great as possible where you are that day. Hope you enjoy this stuff, man. Like and subscribe. Ask questions if you got them. We'll see you on the next one.